In English, we use different quantifiers with nouns to indicate the number, amount, or quantity of a noun. So, quantifiers are words or phrases, for example, many, few, much, lot, little, etc., which indicate the amount, degree, or quantity of a noun. By quantity, we mean the number of a noun. Generally, a quantifier comes before a noun or a noun phrase. That is the rule we have. The rules for marking countability are different in different languages. In English, countability, or the way in which you count a noun, depends on the way in which a noun combines with different types of determiners. For example, how a noun takes the article a, the article the article an, or other determiners, for example, this, that, each, all, etc. So, for example, we have the word knowledge in English, which is an uncountable noun. And being an uncountable noun, it can either be used without any article or with a definite article the. That is what we know as a rule. However, in English, we often come across sentences like a knowledge of. For example, Ali has a knowledge of Latin, Sarah has a knowledge of Urdu poetry, etc. Similarly, we have the collective noun people, and normally collective nouns do not make plurals. But in English, people often takes as and becomes plural and is used as a plural form as well. For example, the native peoples of Serbia. So this combining of different types of nouns with different determiners, the combining of nouns in different ways with different determiners, causes a lot of confusion for the outer and expanding circle users of English, who use English either as a second language or foreign language. So because of the fact that there are so many different ways in which a noun combines with different determiners, this causes a lot of confusion. So in English, uncountable nouns like equipment, information, sugar, they are all singular. However, there are many languages in the world, the native languages of the outer and expanding circle users of English, where these nouns, these uncountable nouns, are plural. And therefore, when they use these nouns in English, because of the interference of their first language, they take the plural of, they use a plural of these nouns. So what they do is they use these uncountable nouns as countable nouns by adding s or by making, changing them into plurals. It seems that the plural forms of uncountable nouns are used perceptually. For example, the nouns or the objects which people believe have different, they have more, they're more in number. For example, furniture, equipment, etc. They are regularly used with a plural marker to indicate that there are more than one piece. For example, when you talk about furniture, you have many pieces of furniture, tables, chairs, sofas, beds, etc. All these are furniture. So, the speakers of English from the outer circle countries, they perceptually use the article, these nouns with the plural, in the plural form, to denote more than one piece of these objects. Similarly, there are other abstract nouns which are used in plural forms in many Asian and African varieties of English. For example, advice is an uncountable noun in English, but we hear people say advices all the time here in Pakistan as well. Similarly, information is an uncountable noun, but we hear people use informations every now and then, and same goes for the noun money. So the variations that we see in outer circle varieties of English is the uncountable quantifiers are used with countable nouns. Another variation that we see in the use of nouns in the outer circle varieties is the use of uncountable quantifier with countable nouns. For example, much is a quantifier we use with uncountable nouns. For example, much water, much sugar, much worry, etc. But in outer circle varieties of English, we come across sentences like don't eat so much burgers, where burgers is a countable noun and should take a countable quantifier, that is many. But we come across such sentences where our uncountable quantifier is used with a countable noun. Similarly, we come across many examples in different varieties of English where the determiner where the word some is used as a determiner. So after some few days, this is again a common occurrence in many African and Asian varieties of English, where some indicates the generic nature of the noun. So after some few days is another variation that we come across in the outer circle varieties of English. Then another variation that we see in the use of nouns in different varieties of English is the conflation of pronoun gender. Often the outer circle varieties, the speakers of outer circle varieties of English mix up their gender pronouns. So when they have to use he, they would use she and vice versa. So we have sentences like these, and again these are authentic sentences which have been gathered by different researchers from authentic data of English from outer circle speakers of English. So when I first met my husband, she was a student. Although the pronoun she refers to the husband, the speaker has confused it with the female pronoun and used she instead of he. Similarly, my mother, he lives in Kampong. This is an example from Malaysian English. And of course, with mother, we use a plural female pronoun. But here, the outer circle, the speaker of an outer circle variety, that is Malaysia, has mixed up his pronoun. So instead of using female pronoun, he's used a male pronoun. So we see all these variations in the use of grammar in the outer circle varieties of English.